Scott criticizes DeSantis over his support for Florida's slavery curriculum as they stump in Iowa. I don't think that's enough to be considered a critique. Oh, that's what's good. Shout out to Kid Gravity. That's what's up. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, show some love to Shabazz, American Freedman. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat. We got a new channel member. We got a lot of channel members this live stream. So shout out to everybody for showing support and love. It definitely helps. Definitely helps. Anybody who says that it doesn't help, they're lying. You know what I'm saying? Let me back it up real quick. YGLTB1. Hold on real quick. Let me just see real quick. Let me scroll up real quick. Okay. All right, there we go. The benefits from slavery showed our resilience cannot be matched by any, proven by the atrocities we endured, and we are still here. And it shows us that WS can never be trusted in any situation. Facts. I agree. It also shows that we are actually the most powerful and durable people in the world. And if the world order is based on power, then we should have it. So people need to start organizing so we can do that. Because I think I've talked about this theory of the shared Black American experience. And if you ask me, I don't think it would be a bad idea for every group of people to have a Hunger Games like reality of having to survive slavery and Jim Crow. And we can rate it, we can judge it, we can watch it like a movie. We can talk about it. We can eat popcorn over it and make bets. And if anybody's even alive after it, well, then they can rock with us. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys show some love to Lehman Lucas, who just joined a membership. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat. Throw some flames in the chat. Y'all are killing it on the support today. Shout out and appreciate all of it. I'm telling you guys are going to be getting some content all week long. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to the backup channels as well. Take a moment, make sure you guys are subscribed to the backup channels because I do use them. You know what I'm saying? I got a Crimecast stream I'm gonna try to get done this weekend. Shout out to Lois. Lois said YouTube hid this live, got notified by Kid Gravity. If you guys are having issues with the notifications, the link for my Discord is in the chat. Discord always gives notifications when I go live, so you will never miss a notification if you download Discord and join my Discord. And Torian's got a Discord too, so if you download Discord, you may as well join Torian's as well. Eddie Lee, shout out to my man Eddie Lee. Eddie Lee said, if a Black person wants to know if the white supremacist is your friend, ask them about cash payments for reparation. Do you agree? If, say, education, housing, etc., that's how you know. Here's my opinion. If somebody's a white supremacist, there's nothing else to talk about. You don't even need to ask them anything. Simply, if somebody's if there's any suspicion of anti-Semitism, that particular community is not playing any vetting games. You're automatically cut off and done. Shout out to my man Kid Gravity. Yo, throw some radiation emoji in the chat and show Kid Gravity some love for sending his people over here. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody quote unquote is AWS based on my observation, I don't have any dealings with them. I don't do any tests of I'm gonna have a conversation. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not dealing with you. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's just how I get down. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, if you ask me, right? It's not up to that individual to confess to me whether they're a WS or not. It's up to me to be able to identify the symptoms, right? Like if you go to the doctor, somebody that has cancer that hasn't been diagnosed yet, they're never going to tell the doctor I have cancer. The doctor got to do an assessment and look at all the data and look at all the tests and look at what the scans, x-rays, and lab values show. And based on what all of that stuff shows, the doctor will say, I see all of these symptoms. What this looks like is that you have pancreatic cancer. That's what they'll say, right? Now, they will ask some questions. They'll do a history. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's a fair assessment to say, I can ask a question. But at the same time, at this point in American history, we've been here long enough and been dealing with a lot of people long enough where we shouldn't even have to ask these questions. You should be able to, like, know in the air when you walk in a room what you're dealing with. And if you don't know what you're dealing with at this point, more than likely, it's probably 50% your fault, 50% indoctrination's fault. And if you're not able to evolve in the indoctrination, I mean, what's supposed to happen when you don't evolve? So you probably get the just desserts. You get the appropriate result. You get extinct. You get deleted. You become the victim of a Karen. You know what I'm saying? For a long time, people have done these silly things like, I'm going to move to this area because there's less black people. I don't understand why, like, the past generations would do that. You should never base something on the quality of it being good if there's less black people. That is insane to me. I'm going to go to this store because there's less black people there. The product quality is better. Is that a fact? You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Eddie said, what I'm saying is that giving up white supremacy is like saying, I'm tired of doing anything I want to do to black people and you can't do anything. Well, right. And honestly, I think it actually kind of goes beyond that. I don't think it really goes beyond that. We're just a vehicle to be able to exert power. It's about power and control. You know what I'm saying? And we just happen to be the easiest route to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, not because I want to eradicate plant life on Earth. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables because I know that they're beneficial to my health. And the more of them I eat, the more healthy I am. It just so happens that they're the proxy to my improved health state. So, you know, I think a lot of times, because we have never really had any kind of system like this to understand the benefits of it, we kind of internalize a lot of the self-focus and don't really look at it in the aspect of it being a business, right? Now, somebody listen to what I'm saying right now and sit there and be like, oh, this nigga off code because he's trying to say that. No, if I'm off code, then Neely Fuller Jr. is off code, because Neely Fuller Jr. literally talked about this business relationship that white people have with white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? The problem is that a lot of times people make a grave mistake of only listening to and repeating shit that they like. Neely Fuller Jr. said that a white supremacist can have a black friend, a black best friend, but at the end of the day, if that person is truly a white supremacist, they're gonna always take the side of white supremacy and tell you, I like you better than I like other white people, but it's just business. And the fact to me that it doesn't seem like this stuff has sunk into people's heads yet, it's bizarre, and it's kind of sad. And at this point in history, where a lot of things are so misconstrued and there's so much misinformation out and people are asking all these questions, then you got people like all of these black Republicans like Tim Scott selling people fake dreams. I'm not exactly sure of what an effective strategy to improve people's understanding of the world is. I don't know what the answer to that is. I don't know if there's an answer. But you can die trying. You know what I'm saying? And do you think that Tim Scott is going to learn anything from this? I don't think that he is. What I think is that Tim Scott has known that this would be the result of where his career would go since he went down this road. It's the same thing like somebody that sells dope. They know that at some point they could end up dead or in jail, but they still do it anyway because they feel that the immediate benefits of it are of more value than the future consequences. Hey, I'll do 5 to 10 if I can make this meal off of this krill. You know what I'm saying? Now you in this situation. Tim Scott is effectively in the same. Tim Scott is the Republican version of Eric Adams. You are now trapped in a vice and you don't have anywhere to go. And no one's going to save you. Listen, this is the era of unforgiveness. Don't come over here looking to get saved. No one is looking to save you here. You know what I'm saying? No one's going to save you here. Scott criticizes DeSantis over his support for Florida's slavery curriculum as they stump in Iowa. Now, I disagree with this because I don't feel that Tim Scott criticized Ron DeSantis. Let me ask you guys a question. How many of you all feel that Tim Scott actually criticized Ron DeSantis? Tim Scott is such a coward. He didn't even say Ron DeSantis' name. Are Tim Scott's comments that he made against, if we can even say against, in criticism, if we can even say criticism, would you all consider that a critique? I wouldn't consider that a critique because he didn't detail any particular part of what Ron DeSantis said that he actually agreed with. He didn't do none of that, did he? He didn't do none of that. And I agree. I got to agree with Hurricane IQ. Hurricane IQ said, I don't agree. If anything, he defended him. My opinion. I agree with your opinion, bro. I agree with your opinion. No, I think I get your comment, Eddie. And no offense. Again, don't be offended. Please don't be offended. But anybody will tell you, I don't do call-ins on my Blacklight Revelations 1 and 2 channels. But I get what you're saying, bro. I get it. Trust me, I get it. Basically, you saying is if they have something that's an asset, why would they give up that asset just to make you comfortable? And I agree with that. That's what I was saying. Facts, Kid Gravity, facts. And I was talking about that earlier. Tim Scott said there's no racism in America. I want him on the ground August 23rd. Facts. And now he's opened himself up. Now he's opened himself up to where now somebody like Ron DeSantis can actually call him out. Somebody like Ron DeSantis can turn around and be like, hey, Tim Scott, you sat there earlier and said that there was no such thing as racism. Now you're talking about slavery and silver linings. What exactly were you saying by that? And now you've opened up yourself to some vulnerability. Now, let me ask you guys a question. How many black Republicans, how many black conservatives came out and defended Tim Scott? Because Tim Scott, let's keep it a buck. Tim Scott didn't chide Ron DeSantis. He didn't lecture Ron DeSantis. He didn't go Ari Emanuel on Ron DeSantis. He didn't do none of that. What Tim Scott did was he purposely threw a weak jab to just brush the side of Ron DeSantis' head. That's it. I'm gonna throw this little play punch at you, and that's it. That's all he did. Now, Eddie, I got a channel called Blacklight Revelations News Reviews and Reactions. On that channel, I do call-ins. So if you, I don't know if you're subscribed to that channel or not, but if you do want to subscribe to that channel and we can, you can have the floor, I'll be more than happy to do that for you. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says U.S. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina has criticized fellow Republican presidential candidate and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for supporting new standards that require teachers to instruct middle school students that slaves developed skills that could be applied for their personal benefit. What slavery was really about was separating families, about mutilating humans, and even graping their wives, and also graping the husbands. It was just disgusting. Scott, the sole black Republican in the Senate, told reporters on Thursday after a town hall in Yankee. So now what I find interesting is that Tim Scott didn't say that it was about anti-black racism. It was about white supremacy. And all of this stuff was only done because these people were black. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. I'll let you guys in the comment section tackle Black Free Thinkers. And shout out to Jay Bird. Thanks for putting that link in the chat. I'm gonna let you guys tackle Black Free Thinkers question in the comment section. Has the GOP via Ron DeSantis given a class action N-word wake-up call to these black members and advocates? What do you guys think? So I would hope that every person in our country, and certainly running for president, would appreciate that. Okay, so now again, he doesn't directly address Ron DeSantis, and he doesn't directly address the fact that racism and white supremacy were one of the sole causes of slavery. Yeah, I agree, Eddie. I agree. Black people need to study the 48 powers of law. You will understand white supremacy and life itself. I agree. But I also agree that we should have a baseline understanding as it is. Like, if you ask me, we should be far beyond the level of conversations that we're at right now. We should be far beyond these levels of conversation. And I gotta agree with Kid Gravity. Shout out to Kid Gravity. Again, make sure y'all go over there, drop a like on his video, and check out the replay. He says, I talked about that in my stream today. They don't see it. Nah, they don't see it. And if they do see it, they feel that the immediate benefits have a higher net than the future consequences. And they're ignoring the future consequences in lieu of getting the benefits of it right now. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, people have bad days, Scott added. Sometimes they regret what they say, and we should ask them again to clarify their positions. So again, Tim Scott is still right here giving Ron DeSantis grace. Oh, he didn't know what he was doing. You know, maybe he was having a bad day. Maybe he was grouchy. I mean, he's doing good. Florida is better than it's ever been, ever. How could he be having a bad day? In sunny Florida, let me tell you something. I spent a month in Miami and every day was great. I had a migraine headache one day and I still kicked it from the time I woke up to the time I passed out. Not went to sleep, the time I passed out. You know what I'm saying? Shit. So now here it says DeSantis has been facing criticism from Florida teachers, civil rights leaders, President Joe Biden's White House, and even black Republicans on the school standards. Now, here's the thing, right? The black Republicans should not be challenging Ron DeSantis on the school standards, because the black Republicans, as well as black conservatives, have a extensive library and an extensive history of backing up Ron DeSantis's talking points. That's my question. How does DeSantis make these policies and Tim Scott call it a bad day? It's just like when people decide to shoot places up. It's a bad day. Anytime anything happens, it's a bad day. Give him a second chance. No. Second chances are half measures. No second chance. You do it right the first time. You do everything right the first time. Period. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Vice President Kamala Harris, the nation's now she's the first black president, the first black vice president, which again, I don't understand how you're black if you don't have two black parents. Now, and also I want to clarify my position on that, right? There are some mixed people, multicultural people, biracial people that are 110% down for the cause. They know exactly what time it is, right? Now, when I say this kind of stuff, the people who are down for the cause, their actions supersede who they are as far as genetics. People like Kamala Harris weaponize that, because if you guys, I don't know if you know, but I read an article earlier about a meeting that Kamala Harris had with Asian organizations in New York, and she presented herself to them as an Asian. So now you're weaponizing your own identity for your own personal benefit and political advancement. That's when I have a problem with it. That's when I have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with somebody just because they're anything. I have a problem with a person because of what you do with what you have. Now, I know that's a lot different from the way some people think, but that's just how I think. Because in my ideology, in my opinion, all outcomes based on the individual decision. Most situations where somebody has a gun to your head will end up with you being dead. So nobody has a gun to anybody's head making anybody make bad decisions. People make bad decisions as a result of faulty and suspect personal characteristics, and then they want to throw it onto other people and shit, or onto other situations or other elements, instead of taking personal accountability for their own lack of a backbone and failure. And I think that's sucker shit, and people need to stop. Yeah, and I agree with JDP. One drop rule, another WS construct. Facts. Right. Isn't it funny how they're praised by their right-wing fellow travelers for thinking for themselves? When what's interesting, Black Freethinker, is that they don't think for themselves. They simply recite talking points from a think tank. They're sitting up there calling that half-black conservative, which is what her name used to be. I don't know. Toria knows who I'm talking about. They're calling her a free thinker, and she actually works for a think tank. You actually work for PragerU, who is a think tank, but you're a free thinker somehow. None of your initials, none of your name, none of your credentials is on any kind of research that ever came out of PragerU, not even on any survey that came out of PragerU. You only post videos on YouTube based on talking points that come out of PragerU. You don't contribute to whatever research that it is that they come up with and manipulate data and information for their talking points. You're not a free thinker if you utilize think tank talking points. Thinkers come up with the think tank talking points. You're a parrot. Many black conservatives are parrots. Here's some bullshit. Here's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Here's some more bullshit. That's black conservatives right there, sitting there swinging upside down in the cage. Ah! Yeah, that's what they do. It's swinging upside down in the cage every day. Ah, here goes some bullshit. Ah, here goes some bullshit. Like, that's all they do. They just parrot shit. That's all they do. They don't come up with any original ideas. People that come up with original ideas, they're free thinkers. I have original ideas. A lot of people don't agree with some of my ideas. But that's what makes me a free thinker, because I'll take people not agreeing with my ideas. But I believe in my ideas. I've researched my ideas. I have scientific methodology that I can show that I believe my ideas will work based on hypothesis, based on data. I have come up with research to back these things. None of these other people have. Where's Officer Tatum's research? What would he even research? If I make about 10 videos going in on black people, then maybe the black conservative support will increase 10%. He don't even have any research on what it is that he's doing. What is the mission and vision statement of black conservatism? What is the outcome of it? What's the goal of it supposed to be? What's the roadmap? Where are they going? Where are they trying to get to? Yeah, I agree. Black free thinker. Yeah, that was probably me, Hurricane IQ. It was probably me. They never talk about conservatism. Black free thinker says, I'd say that only 5 to 10% of the self-professed black conservatives are nuanced thinkers. The rest are merely parroting cultists, which sadly reflects society as a whole. I agree with that statement 100%. If you guys agree with black free thinker, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. That's a great point. Super comment. You know what I'm saying? So now here says DeSantis fired back on Friday. Now, remember, he fired back after not being addressed directly. And what I find fascinating is that the media can take what Tim Scott said and make it like he addressed Ron DeSantis. He didn't address Ron DeSantis. He didn't even say the guy's name. What are you talking about? He just said, hey, look, Ron, I'm talking to you. He didn't say that. He didn't say none of that. He gave a broad generalization about his thoughts on slavery, which even his thoughts are misconstrued and warped, and then said when people say things, they could possibly have a bad day. He didn't even address him. But the media wants you to think that Tim Scott just came out swinging. No, Tim Scott didn't come out swinging. You know what I'm saying? Campaigning in Iowa, he added that he was defending Florida against false accusation against lies, and we're going to speak the truth. The back and forth marked a shift in campaign styles for both DeSantis and Scott, who have not directly critiqued each other and have instead focused much of their antagonism toward President Joe Biden. It also comes as DeSantis's efforts have endured a mid-campaign reset, making staffing cuts to accommodate campaign expenses. Now, here's the question, right? What is that? I want people to pay attention to this, right? Let me ask you guys a question. What presidential candidate has the largest amount of campaign donations and campaign funding in their quote unquote war chest? Who has the most money to spend for campaign purposes? That's what I need you guys to tell me. Tell me the answer to that question. Who has the most money? If you look on opensecrets.org, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's opensecrets.org. Opensecrets.org will tell you who has the most money. And I did a live stream on it, and I think that live stream is one of the few live streams that I have on members only. Ron DeSantis got the most money. He's got the most money. He's got the most donors. Why are you making budget cuts? How do you have the most and you need to get on a budget all of a sudden? What are you doing with the money? Shout out to Eddie. Eddie said we would be far beyond our conversation if white supremacists didn't destroy Black Wall Street, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd be far ahead in society. Right. But if you get your whatever it is that you're trying to do destroyed by your enemies, then that means that you lost. So again, them destroying Black Wall Street, if they want to maintain a system, that's what they're supposed to do. It's our responsibility to defend that and stop them from doing that. And we didn't. That's just like the Detroit Pistons back in the 80s saying, well, you know, if we could only get past Michael Jordan and the Bulls. If we could only get past Michael Jordan and the Bulls, or if we could only get past Larry Bird and the Celtics, if we could only just, if only the Lakers didn't have Magic Johnson, they're not going to sit Magic Johnson on the bench to accommodate the Detroit Pistons' desire to win a championship. Nobody's not going to burn down Black Wall Street just to accommodate Black people's desire for empowerment. That's not how that works. What that means is that when we threw a right, somebody threw a counter left and put us on the mat. That's what that means. People need to swallow that, accept it, and move on and adjust strategies so that that doesn't occur again. I live in Ohio, you know what I'm saying? And Cleveland fans of Cleveland sports have more excuses. If it wasn't for John Elway, if it wasn't for the drive, if the drive, it was the drive, you know what I'm saying? No, it's because the Browns suck. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was because Ernest Biner and Kevin Mack fumbled the ball all the damn time. Bernie Kosar threw a lot of interceptions. And the Denver Broncos was a better team, is what it was. There was no because. You know what I'm saying? That's how we got to start looking at these kind of things. And again, even Neely Fuller Jr. said that. Neely Fuller Jr. said people that reminisce on the past and live in the past who are currently oppressed or are currently facing oppression live in the past because they don't have solutions to deal with the oppression appropriately. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Facts. Tanya Harding. Yeah, hit her with the crowbar. You know what I'm saying? She hit Nancy Kerrigan with the crowbar. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Now Nancy Kerrigan can't ice skate. That's some old school shit, by the way. Yeah, the Browns is the Browns. It don't matter that they was at the AFC Championship. The Browns is the Browns. They were not prepared to beat the Denver Broncos. That's just what it is. You're supposed to be able to get better, you know what I mean, from things that you've done not in an optimal way in the past. There is no becauses. There is no if they didn't. If John Jones wasn't such a skilled UFC fighter, if he didn't practice so much, he wouldn't be a reigning champion. So maybe he'll just stop practicing so that he can give other people like Stipe Miocic a chance to win again. Nah, who's gonna do that? It's an unrealistic expectation. Tribe fans cry about everything. They still crying about Albert Bell. You know what I'm saying? They cry about everything. I'll tell you what I cry about as a Tribe fan. I cry about how the hell do you lose a two win advantage and lose the damn World Series in Cleveland? That's the shit that I be asking about. How do you do that? And see, like, I don't have no becauses, because I know what the because is. The because is because y'all suck. I'm just trying to figure out how you did it. How did you manage to do that? And y'all lost to another team, the Chicago Cubs, that hadn't even won a World Series up until that point. Man, I was like, please don't let Chicago make history on us. Please don't let Chicago make history on us. Please don't let Chicago make history on us. Of course, Chicago made history on us. It's just like Cleveland fans was all mad when LeBron James went to Miami. We would have been better if we still had LeBron. Man, LeBron ain't about to stay and y'all ain't spending no money. And see, listen, Eddie, I'm going to tell you something, bro. Shout out to Eddie. Eddie said, I'm a retired Army veteran, and I hate that I have to wear my Army cap on my head just to get respect from white supremacists and black people. For one, here in our chat room here, everybody will respect you here. And for two, the only thing that you should ever do is walk outside and demand respect. And if people don't respect you, prove why it's better for them to respect you. There's no value in respect from white supremacists, because white supremacists don't respect. That's an illusion. If you think that white supremacists respect you because of your service or because of your hat or because of anything, that's an illusion. It's a presentation. It's a mirage. Know what I'm saying? See, we respect you because you're here. We respect you because you have some good things to input into the chat. I respect you for giving me a chance to listen to my content. White supremacists, it doesn't matter if they're less animalistic. It's just a mirage. Regardless if you got your pants sagging or if you're wearing a business suit, they see the same silhouette. You said the Cubs, they blamed the fan for doing fan stuff as if he called an 8-run choke. Man, that's hilarious. That's what teams and the Cubs they're similar to Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have a real good history. You know what I'm saying? They got that one off on us, but you know what I'm saying? They don't have a real good history as far as like a winning legacy of anything. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says another black Republican presidential candidate, Will Hurd of Texas, has also criticized DeSantis over the curriculum, as have Representatives Byron Donalds of Florida, Wesley Hunt of Texas, John James of Michigan, Trump allies who are among a handful of black Republicans in Congress. Now, listen, I hate to do this. I hate to do it, but I'm about to do it. You know what this black Republican outrage of Ron DeSantis reminds me of? You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of dummies that were making excuses for Just Pearly Things, saying misinformation about slavery, because Just Pearly Things it was doing her revisionist history as well, just like DeSantis, and she surrounded herself with a whole bunch of black people to give her legitimacy. And then when she decided to flip, oh my God, we're outraged. Listen, man, like I said, I'm one of the most liberal-minded people as far as when it comes to dealing with other groups of people. that there can possibly be. But at the same time, I got common sense. Just Pearly Things had warning signs going back like 2 years. Shout out back then, Mike TV called himself Mr. Real Estate. But back then, I got the content that I found out about Just Pearly Things from Mike TV. And him and I were a few of the people that did videos about her back then. But now more and more come out. Somebody like Sarah Garvey sitting up there working with her. Sarah Garvey in this situation reminds me of Tim Scott. What you talking about, bruh? You sitting up there about to educate us about Just Pearly Things? What you talking about, bruh? You sitting up there about to educate us that slavery didn't give us community college skills? Shut up, man. You just don't want to go down with the boat is what it is. Or don't look over here for no life raft because we're not sending one out to you. You better hope your swimming skills is up to par. You better hope you know how to do the doggy paddle. You know what I'm saying? So now here says Scott's comments came as he and DeSantis stumped in Iowa before the state Republican Party's Lincoln Day dinner. At the gathering, 13 candidates, and pay attention to that number. Now, why do you think it's 13 candidates? Everything is 13. 13 colonies, 13 candidates. A lot of 13s. Let me ask you guys a question. Anybody got $1 on them right now? Who got $1? And before y'all super chat it or cash app it, I'm not asking for $1. I'm just asking if anybody has $1 that they can pull out of their wallet and look at it. Going back to American roots with 13. But what else beyond America with 13? How many disciples were there? They always say that there was 12 disciples, but that's the funniest joke. Because at the least there was 13. There's 13 if you count Jesus as a disciple, or there's 13 if you count Mary Magdalene as a disciple. Oh, shit. Yeah, how many tribes of Judah? We just play with the numbers a little bit. Hey, do they ever make a building with 13 floors? Usually they skip the 13th floor on the elevator. Sometimes they put it in there, sometimes they don't. The old school buildings skip it. Now, here go my question for y'all. How many arrows is in the foot of the seal of Saturn on the back of the dollar? That bird. How many arrows is in the foot? Somebody count it real quick. Let me see. Let us see. Let me see. But let's look at this real quick. Let me see. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, it looks like. How many leaves is on that olive branch in the other one? There's a lot of 13s. Shout out to Carlton. 13 stars above the Eagles' head. Hey, I'm not Dane Calloway, clearly, but I'm just here to make you think. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, including frontrunner Donald Trump, will be addressing an expected 1,200 activists on Friday. Scott, part of the GOP's most diverse presidential field ever, was asked for his opinion on the standard hours after DeSantis defended them to reporters. At the end of the day, you got to choose. Are you going to side with Kamala Harris and liberal media outlets, or are you going to side with the state of Florida, DeSantis said, citing Democrats' criticism of the wording on slavery. I think it's very clear that these guys did a good job on those standards. It wasn't anything that was politically motivated. But I'd advise you guys to check out some content that Torian has coming. You know what I'm saying? The pyramid has 13 layers. Carlton said, there's also a small owl on the back of the dollar. Was that God's plan? God's plan. I'm just asking for a friend. Was that God's plan? I'm just asking for a friend. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the reason we got a lot of enemies. Got so many enemies. I'm just saying. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's everything. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So now here it says, responding on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, to reporters' posts of Scott's video, a super PAC supporting DeSantis on Thursday night called the posts incredibly sloppy or intentionally disingenuous, reposting video of DeSantis's defense of the curriculum earlier in the day. All right. Tim Scott is realizing that the world is correct.